Hi everyone, welcome to the Psychology Decoded channel. What leads to delusion? The common belief is that people cling to false ideas because they're too uninformed or foolish to understand reality. However, the opposite can often be true. Many delusions target not the simple-minded, but the brightest individuals. This has far-reaching consequences for education, society, and you as an individual. In 2013, Yale law professor Dan Kahan ran experiments to explore how intelligence influences ideological bias. One study used the cognitive reflection test to assess reasoning abilities. Kahan found that while liberals and conservatives scored similarly overall, those with the highest intelligence in both groups were the most likely to show bias when evaluating political statements. In another experiment, Kahan's team tested people's ability to analyze statistical data. When participants were told the data related to a neutral topic, like skin rash treatment, those with higher numeracy skills were more objective. But when the data was framed around a divisive issue, like gun control, the most intelligent participants displayed the strongest bias. This link between intelligence and bias is well supported by research, with similar results found in studies by Tarbur, Stanovich in 2012, and Joslin in 2014. These studies showed that the smartest individuals are often the most biased. Given that biases on both sides contradict each other, it's clear this isn't a matter of better understanding. So why are intelligent people so prone to bias? To understand this, we need to define intelligence. In AI research, there's a concept called the orthogonality thesis, which argues that intelligence isn't a single entity. It's the effectiveness of pursuing a specific goal. Rationality is intelligence applied to seeking truth, but intelligence can serve any number of purposes. Human intelligence, for example, evolved more as a tool for survival, fitting into social groups, gaining status, and finding partners, than for objective truth. This often required the acceptance of what could be called fashionable irrational beliefs, or fibs, which the brain excels at forming. Being a social species, it's actually adaptive for humans to believe irrational things if those beliefs improve social standing. Kahan refers to this behavior as identity protective cognition, where people use their intelligence not to correct falsehoods, but to justify them. As author Saul Bellow once said, "A lot of intelligence can be invested in ignorance when the need for illusion is deep." In other words, less intelligent people may be more easily deceived by others, but smart people are better at deceiving themselves. This ability to rationalize rather than reason explains why more intelligent people tend to hold stronger ideological biases. While troubling in individuals, this trend can be disastrous in groups, shaping the structure and trajectory of society. Elite institutions like Oxford and Harvard for centuries have trained students to win debates, not necessarily to find truth. These master debaters often go on to become the political and intellectual elites of society. In fields like law, politics, and media, where winning arguments often matters more than being correct, these skills are highly valued. Unfortunately, this emphasis on persuasion over truth allows illogical ideas to spread from individuals to entire societies. One example is the rise of woke ideology, which combines conspiracy-like thinking with moral panic. Wokeism reduces the world into simple victim-oppressor dynamics, often based on race, gender, or sexual orientation. Those who support wokeism argue that objective reality is merely a construct designed by powerful groups to maintain dominance, especially white men. In this worldview, the goal of academia is not to seek truth, but to advance social justice through diversity, equity, and inclusion. Intelligent individuals often craft highly sophisticated but irrational arguments to defend ideas like obesity is healthy or sex is a spectrum, despite decades of research contradicting these claims. These views gain traction through the process of idea laundering, where opinions are dressed up in academic jargon and presented in scholarly journals, thus making ideology appear as knowledge. While such irrational views may spread among cultural elites, they are less common among everyday people, who don't engage in the mental gymnastics required to justify them. But despite being irrational, wokeism can be seen as an intelligent worldview, since its goal is not truth but social status. Engaging in woke practices like defending obesity or encouraging children to question their gender signals that a person is compassionate and cultured, even if these ideas end up causing harm. Wokeism is the result of identity-protective cognition running unchecked through institutions like Hollywood and academia. Yet, it's not a new problem. Intellectuals of any era are vulnerable to these patterns. In the 19th century, for instance, the belief in white supremacy dominated American thought, with educated elites using pseudoscientific arguments to justify slavery. This isn't just an issue for others. If you're watching this, you're likely intelligent and should be cautious about how your own intellect might be swayed by personal biases. But how can you avoid being led astray? Many people try to combat delusion by studying cognitive biases and logical fallacies, but this can backfire. Research suggests that teaching about misinformation sometimes makes people more likely to dismiss inconvenient facts, while logic training often leads to selective reasoning, where people use logic to defend their beliefs rather than challenge them. The key is to combine learning with the development of character traits, like curiosity and humility. Kahan found that curiosity is one of the best defenses against bias, as it motivates people to seek truth rather than defend their preconceived ideas. Cultivating humility is equally important because the greatest biases stem from ego. When we tie our self-worth to being right, we're less willing to change our minds. But if we redefine success as a willingness to learn, admitting we're wrong becomes an opportunity for growth. In the end, rationality is not about intelligence, it's about character. Without curiosity and humility, education will only sharpen your biases, making you better at fooling yourself. To pursue truth, always be open to the possibility that you might be wrong and remain willing to change your mind, especially if you're smart. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button and share it with someone who might benefit from it. Don't forget to subscribe to Psychology Decoded and click the notification bell for more insightful content. Thank you for watching.